back. So I grew up in Oregon, little town called Bend, Oregon. There's no cars up there. I mean, I still go home and you see nothing. Like there's just like not a very big car culture. And doing the YouTube thing, realizing I could get monetized, I just wanted to dive all in immediately. And I realized that like to do it, I had to invest either 100% or invest none and go chase another dream. And California, you know, it's the land of supercars per capita. There's more supercars in LA than anywhere in the world. And I wanted it so bad that I chose to go down to California, film cool cars there on Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills and chase the dream. And I had no money. I owned no cars at the time, had no idea what I was doing. The term YouTuber wasn't really a thing at that time. It kind of was, but not like it is today. And I didn't know what else to do. I just knew that I needed to film as much as I could. So I went down there and chased the dream.
Were you always like an all or nothing type of person?
Yes, always. Always in everything in life. I've always been all or nothing.
You think you were just born that way, or do you think it was some like values that were instilled in you? Like,
I think I was born that way more so because I have 3 older brothers. My parents, they're not quite the same. I think it's almost, I guess, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. It's not, if it's not genetic, did I learn it from somebody else? Was there an outside influence? I'm not sure. I just knew that like growing up, it was just, as soon as I got focused on an idea, it was like I was doing that and nothing else mattered. And for me, it was always cars. Like cars was always the thing. So when I graduated from college, it was like, I'm trying to buy and sell cars. I'm trying to, you know, figure out a way to be an entrepreneur to buy a car. And that was really the all or nothing mentality. It was to own a supercar. That's all that mattered.
Any specific one or just?
Usually either Ferrari or Lamborghini. You know, it was kind of a moving target throughout childhood. It was sometimes like the latest and greatest Ferrari. So the name TheStradman comes from the Ferrari Challenge Stradale. So when I made up that username when I was 15, that was the car, that was the target. But then as I got older, the target became Lamborghini and the Gallardo was the target that I hit. So it kind of always sort of shifted based on, you know, cars. There's always new models and I don't know, new features that you kind of get drawn to. And the Lamborghini was the target when I was in my 20s.
That was where I found your channel, actually, is when you made that video, How I Bought a Lamborghini Gallardo. And it was just you filming like this with the car in the background. And back like in the day when you made that video, that wasn't really done before. There were very few people on YouTube with a Lamborghini. Rob Dahm was the first one that I saw with his Diablo. You posted yours. And then even before Rob Dahm was Robert Himmler. That was it. And he had his green
twin turbo. Insane car.
He was
the
only
OG of the OGs.
He was.
He really was.
And so for me, because I started watching YouTube back then, like that was inspirational for me to see like someone is on YouTube with a Lamborghini. Like that just didn't exist. When your video popped up, I thought it was really nice. It was really well done about how you worked as an accountant, how you're able to afford the car, the payments, like your openness and transparency for that video is where I initially subscribed. Amazing. Which I think was way back. Like, I don't know how many subscribers
that was really the video, the moment where I realized that I was right on YouTube though.
Yeah.
Because up until that moment, most people in my life are like, you're crazy. What are you doing? You're going to buy a Lamborghini on a $45,000 a year salary. Have you lost your mind? You're going to film YouTube videos and make money. But it was that moment when it's like the aha moment. Like I gotcha. Yeah. Like I was right.
So how did you get the aha? Was it a certain investment that like the Lamborghini returns or something?
So I bought the Lamborghini on September 26, 2015 or 16. And I filmed that video in November. So I bought the car and I filmed that video about a month later. And that video did about 1 million views in the first week or two. But it was really the ad revenue. The ad revenue, I made about $10,000. So I bought a car for $110,000 that I was making payments via a $45,000 a year salary. And that YouTube video paid for effectively 10% of the car purchase price with one video a month after I got it. And then today, I mean, that video has now 4 million. I probably made 20, 30 grand or whatever off of it. But it was really that moment. It's like, okay, one video has already paid off 10% of the car. That was kind of like the aha moment. It was really the revenue attached to the video and the subscriber growth too.
What were the finances like buying a Lamborghini making $45,000 a year?
So I put a lot down. So I saved a lot of money. So I lived very, very frugal. I don't like the word cheap, frugal. I mean, I was very focused on what I wanted. I knew what I wanted and I sacrificed everything for that. And so I'd worked in accounting for a little bit, a couple years, and I'd saved up every single penny I could. I lived with roommates. My rent was, a couple $100 a month. I went to Walmart. I got frozen pizzas that were $3 instead of DiGiorno's that were $5 or $6. I didn't drink alcohol. I didn't obviously do any drugs. I didn't drink soda, doing all these little things. And I don't know the exact number. I'd have to look back. I want to say I put down like 40 grand maybe on the car. So I put down around 40-ish and I financed 70. And it was an interesting conversation with the bank, but I was able to get it done. I didn't need a cosigner or anything. And I had good credit as well. I'd had a couple car loans through this bank in the past. So I think that all helped. But it was definitely very risky.
Were you nervous? Because with a car like that, I mean, the engine blows up or you get an oil leak.
Right.
There could be 20 grand, 15 grand gone.
That was my single biggest fear. And I would say like in my whole journey, that's one of maybe the more fortunate things that happened for me. I did get a PPI. So I got a pre-purchase inspection on the car. I bought the car from Lamborghini of Newport Beach, which is a very well-known, well-respected dealership. The car was a single owner car, 10,000 miles, manual transmission, right color that's, very sought after. And so I did a lot of my due diligence there on the back end, but I got lucky. I didn't have any issues with the car for many, many years.
How much was it?
It was $110,000. Yeah.
Today, those prices have gone up a lot.
Oh yeah.
6-speed.
Yeah, this car, if I had never driven this car, it would be worth, man, I don't know, 160, 170 grand probably. Obviously, I've driven it a lot. I mean, that car's been a fiasco for many reasons.
Right.
But it's definitely gone up a lot. And buying the manual transmission was key because the e-gear cars are prone to, more expensive repairs, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I mean, as soon as I bought the car, I was filming the delivery, picking up the car. Like it was like all in.
Yeah.
It was filming every single day, every single thing I could think of. And like you said, there just wasn't YouTube content on cars like there is today, especially Lamborghinis, especially a young guy. And that was my strategy. My strategy was centered around, a Lamborghini is something that every kid dreams of. And every kid that sees a Lamborghini owner is older with gray hair and they've retired and they finally get the car. Whereas a younger guy, especially back then, you just didn't see it at all.
It's interesting. The other turning point, because I saw that video, subscribed. I didn't really follow the content after until you got fired from your job.
Right. Yep.
And then I remember the title, I got fired from my job, or I got fired. Can I still keep my Lamborghini?
Yes, sir.
Which to me was like, that was when your channel really took off.
It really did. Yep. It did. And that's because I think you nailed it though. All of a sudden you had this intrigue. You're like, is this guy going to survive? Is he going to make it? Is he going to keep the car? And drama sells, right? But this was also like drama that was so relatable. It wasn't like, Kardashian, keeping up with the Kardashians drama. This was like, every young guy dreams of owning a Lamborghini. And I think everybody was rooting for me to keep the car as well. Right. And, I mean, it was a very nervous time for me. I didn't know what I was going to do. But what was amazing about it is that particular video did really well. So that video, I think, did 600,000 views or whatever in like a week. And so that video, the ad revenue on that video made, man, I don't know, it was like 3 or 4 car payments, right? So that video, just that very first video covered me for the next 4 months. And so that, relieved a lot of the stress. But once again, I was all in. I mean, I remember I got laid off, and I got laid off at like 11 a.m., right? I was in the parking lot at 1 p.m. filming that video. And then the next day I filmed another, like I was just like, okay, it's time to go. It's time to put my foot on the gas, film as much as I possibly can, and try to figure this thing out.